On the morning of the 14th of October 1918, Adolf Hitler was near Vervig in Flanders. There was a mustard gas attack from the British lines. If the poison got into the eyes, the eyelids would swell up and cause severe pain, leading to functional blindness. If there were no complications, the symptoms often disappeared completely after a few weeks. The swelling would go down and sight would return. And this is precisely what happened to Hitler. Those wounded in this way were classified as lightly wounded. We might not consider today that blindness caused by gas poisoning to be a light injury. However, we need to consider the conditions that existed at the time. Adolf Hitler had already been in hospital once during the war. His first stay was at Bielitz-Heilstätten, where he was treated for a leg injury from the 9th of October to the 4th of December 1916. With the classification of a light injury, Hitler was admitted to the Pasewalk Reserve Hospital on the 21st of October 1918 under the number 7361 with the diagnosis gas poisoning. The convalescence usually lasted 4 weeks. Whilst he was there at Pasewalk, the war came to an end. Hitler described in Mein Kampf how he learned of the end of the war and his decision to become a politician as follows. On the 10th of November, the pastor came to the hospital to give a short speech. Now we found out everything. I was extremely excited and was present at the short speech. The old dignified gentleman seemed to be shaking very much when he told us that the House of Hohenzollern could no longer wear the German imperial crown, that the fatherland had become a republic. What followed were terrible days and even worse nights. I knew that everything was lost. Only fools or liars and criminals could hope for the mercy of the enemy. During these nights my hatred grew, hatred against the perpetrators of this act. In the days that followed I also became aware of my fate. I had to laugh now at the thought of my own future, which had caused me such bitter worries just a short time ago. There was no pact with the Jew, only the hard either or. Thus I decided to become a politician. Hitler left on the 19th of November 1918 as fit for military service for the replacement battalion of the 2nd Bavarian Infantry Regiment in Munich. In other words, if you believe this story, he was fit for military service only 9 days after losing his sight and then regaining it again. Let's remember that 1 month was the usual period to spend in hospital with the injuries that Hitler had, so this was completely normal. What is not normal is that he lost his sight again. I suggest that at most what might have happened is that Hitler might have blacked out for a few moments after learning of the defeat, but this was something he recovered from very quickly. However, it suited the later myth. He took the train from Pasewalk to Berlin. In the capital he must have witnessed what was going on and the events of the German Revolution. And in Munich it is possible that he even participated in them. Hitler recounted his experience in the hospital in Mein Kampf, which was written whilst he was in prison in 1924. Here, Hitler was not recounting historical events, but rather, now that he was famous, he was attempting to create a myth. The idea that the lowly wounded soldier, while suffering from blindness, should attempt to put right the wrong of the stab in the back was appealing, particularly the bit about losing his sight again and learning of the defeat. I think the first time Hitler ever thought about becoming a politician whilst in Pasewalk was when he was writing his book in prison in 1924. In any case, there's no record of him saying this to anyone else beforehand. If you'd like to know more on this subject, I've done a longer video on it. There's a link below. I made it in Pasewalk, and have a look at that. Thanks for watching.